For me, I'm a young man with an old heart. Yeah, like vintage inside, but outside, young. I really love old people. God has really put a heart in me for older people. But as I grow in the Lord, He's put a heart for families into my heart. Right. So today I bring a message of number one, hope. Number two, in line with the theme, each one reach one. Really to equip you with a tool that you could use to reach your family members and the people around you. Essentially, I'm going to share about my heart, my experience, my life, and how the Lord has really changed me. And I hope that will really give you the impetus to say, hey, my grandma who is like 90, we've been praying for her for the last 50 years, like, what's happening? Okay, that she can be saved. Right? I remember my colleague at work, she can be saved or he can be saved. My message today is called Celebrating Life. Why celebrating life? Celebrating life because the Lord has spoken to me that this year is for me to go out and declare that we are celebrating lives. Okay, but before I go into the word, let me just share about my family. So this is my family, lovely wife. I just celebrated her birthday yesterday. And my 4 kids, Sophia, Joy. So when people ask me, how many kids do you have, Isaiah? I say, and how old are they? I say 7, 7, 5, 1. Yeah, so twins, you made it out. Yeah, twins. So twin girls, Sophia and Joy. And then Daniel, who is here. Yeah, we've already seen him, Lion King. And then Jedediah, God's beloved. Okay, and my wife is a speech therapist. So both my wife and I worked in healthcare, and we love old people. The Lord has called me for 15 and a half years so far, going in the community, looking at helping people to stay healthy, live longer, and better. Okay, so doing companies, doing business, doing charity work, and reaching out to people is all part and parcel of what I do on a daily basis. And this is an example of the people that I've met along my journey in the last 15 and a half years. I was saved in 2006, and through that time, I've been to many different countries, just helping out, starting out, just really going out in the community. I wrote to my pastor one day. I said, hey, pastor, actually I really haven't spoken to him before. I just wrote to him and said, hey, pastor, I want to start an exercise program. I see all the old people in our church. And a lot of my friends tell me that they want to bring grandma, but there's no platform. So can I just start an exercise class? And he said, I go and reach all the people in Joo Chiat and Katong. So I come from Cornerstone Church in Katong. Yeah, so I reach out to all the people, ask them to come. So we started the Saturday class, and we used Sunday school on Sunday school on the Saturday, the premises, and we got all the old seniors. Then Sunday it's like, hey, upstairs, you can go upstairs if you want to go to church. Yeah. So that's an exercise program. You can see, uncle, as you grow older, you can also grow muscles. By the way, wow, do you all believe that? You all believe that? Yeah, I just teach a bunch of old, not old, I shouldn't say old. They don't like what me call them old. Seniors, 61 to 70 years old from UOB Bank, just on Friday. And I was saying, hey, do you believe you can grow muscles at 90 years old? Do you all believe? Yes, can still grow. I went to the nursing home. You see on top, right? I go to the nursing home, and when God told me, go to the nursing home to those who are without family members, maybe not as much hope in their hearts anymore, and says, do something with them. Then I say, uncle, do you want to climb mountain like Caleb? Then the auntie said, you siao. And I said, but out of 200 people that we asked, 5 people said yes. We trained them with our power training protocol, and they grew muscles, 90 years old. Okay? And they started to go out more, right? And give them hope. Speak in their heart, say, you have still dreams. Because that's what Joel 2:28 says. Old men dream dreams. You need to dream dreams. So speak in their heart, say, you can dream. What's your dream? Small, big, doesn't matter. Dream. Right? So if you have seniors at home, grandparents, parents, tell them, there's still dream left in you. That's why you're alive today. Right? So that's where I've been. I've gotten an award from our ex-president as well. Yeah, so this has been my journey of really God's goodness, of just an ordinary person. And God just said, Isaiah, I just give a heart for old people. Just go and speak to them, minister to them. Speak to them, minister to them, teach them, and he's just giving me so many promises. And even today, standing here speaking, just really so thankful. This journey of just faithfully working a lot, and just coming here, just sharing my heart, and hope it really blessed you today. This was my journal in 2018. And my journal record, just really copy and paste, put it there, okay? And it really is the start of the impetus of these words, celebrating life. And so this is I'll just read out my journal. So I wrote in July. I went to the wake yesterday. There I saw an old lady wailing on top of a coffin. Her husband laid there, age 79. He had committed suicide on Sunday afternoon. So this was, if I'm not wrong, it was a Monday or Tuesday. Okay, so when I went to the wake, it was at Singapore Casket, just down the road, Lavender. When people were by the sea enjoying this weekend, last weekend at Sentosa, he jumped down into the sea where strong currents swirled. There was a deafening silence. So when I walked in, I remember I came out of the lift, Singapore Casket, very cold. I walk out of the lift, and you go into the room. And then there was just silence, okay, followed by more wails. I told myself, Isaiah, remember this. Never forget this scene of the old lady just on top of coffin, wailing and silence, wailing and then silence. And I just stood down there. I'm like, okay. Somehow something just birthed in me, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is another life taken. And I'm like, God, what can I do? I'm just one man. And I know that He has called me to speak to old people, to be the voice of older people. So working in the government, working in companies, just really dealing with even policymakers in our policies of Singapore for the seniors. And I felt like, hey, how can this happen in our generation, on my watch? Like, God, you put me here to be their voice, right? Like, why is this happening? And 2018 was a record high. That means never has there been so many older people. And that year, I remember the number was 124 seniors. Last year, 2022, it went up more, 178. And to me, I'm like, why? Right? So I started to delve a little bit into it. And I realized something. As I meet older people, or people in general, number one, they have a hardened heart. Right? So number one, they have hardened heart. Many have unresolved conflicts, agitation. So the people that you meet maybe on a daily basis, they have offenses inside. They have conflicts. They are struggling. Some have a broken heart. They're tired. They always tell you, Isaiah, I want to give up. Cannot. I'm struggling. Right? You have a sense, there's like a sense of hope. There's no more sense of hope. Just stepped out of them. I know it's quite sobering what I'm sharing, but it's real. Right? When you meet people on a daily basis, it's a face. The face may look happy, may look like normal. Things are just going normal. But inside, a hardened heart or a broken heart. But oftentimes, I don't get laden down by their brokenness or their hardness. I find people who have a tender heart. Right? So sometimes you can have a broken heart, but all of a sudden you'll be like, yeah, can you help me? Then there's that avenue to say, hey, I need help. Right? Because sometimes when it's so hard, so broken, they just need some time. But I want to wait for the moment when they have a tender heart and they ask for help. Or when you're down there, they just start to pour out to you. That's when the tender heart is there. And that's where we step in. So I learned this when I went to nursing home. So this is where I started in 2007. After I was saved in 2006, got baptized, went to church camp, and there I remembered on the floor, just kena slain. And visions started to come to me. A lot of visions, right? about old people, about exercise, about me speaking to different people, to crowds, etc. And nursing home. So I went to nursing home. I followed the community services in my church. Go. I thought I was very happy. Go there. And I went to nursing home. Who has been to nursing home? If you have, yes. Not. Yes? In the past, maybe in 07, 08, nursing home was really bad. Now we have improved quite a bit. Okay? But we still have nursing homes with 20, 10 people living in one room. So imagine one day you're out. Imagine when you walk on the streets, right? You go to shopping centers, there's normal people are doctors, people are teachers, etc. But once you enter a nursing home, you become like faceless, nameless. And you're just down there stuck. Right? You go in, it's like going to prison without parole. Right? And there, I start to experience all these different hearts, broken hearts, people who are abandoned by their children, people who are suffering from their pains and ailments, right? And the key thing was that they are P-O-O-R, poor. In the Lord's eyes, they are poor. Poor. Jesus said, go, come to elevate poverty. Poor in spirit, poor socially. They can be side by side with one another. Right? So parallel this to the young. You can be just going about your life, but socially you're not connected to people. That's why you feel alone. And same for the seniors. They can be lying side by side for the last 10 years, They don't turn over and talk to one another. Right? In a nursing home. They don't do that. Right? So socially poor, emotionally poor, mentally, dementia, right? They're poor. Physically, they're on the bed, poor. And I'm like, wow. So Lord revealed to me, these are all poor. People are poor. They are poor. Go, feed them. Go to them. Make them rich. Right? Because I have given. And then older people are also orphans. Because their parents are not here anymore. And if they're abandoned by their children, all the more they feel like orphans. Right? Go to the poor. Go to the orphans. And that's where I started to realize, wow, there's something that we can do, right? We can do. There's something that we can do. So the turning point for me was when I met Auntie Tan. And Auntie Tan is a fictitious name. She was in a nursing home. And I remember very vividly that day, we were like almost done, chit-chatting with old people, doing some little exercise with them. And I was walking out. So you can see the door over there. Okay, it's not this room, but that door over there. So I was walking out the door. Then this auntie was just lying beside Auntie Tan. Then I realized, how come got head, then got body, then all of a sudden just the blanket. Then I realized that actually she has amputations. High amputations over here. Usually people have knee amputation. She has high amputations. Okay, and so it's just a torso and head. And I'm like, wow, is she born this way? Right? So I asked the nurse. And when the nurse said, it's actually diabetes, so it got so bad they had to amputate both her limbs off. Right? And I'm like, wow, this auntie, all of a sudden I just felt, the Lord let me feel how she felt. I'm sort of a person that, as a guy, usually I'm not so like emo, not so empathetic. But at the moment, all of a sudden I just felt her sadness. All of a sudden I just felt her pain, and I'm like, okay, what can I do? So in my head, I start to use my brain to think, what can I do? Cheer up, sing her song, talk to her maybe about happy moments, happy times. But that all didn't help. Her face was just like stone cold looking at me. The stone. Didn't really reply as much. The usual yes, no answer. And in that convo, maybe you have met people like that, in that convo, they are so down in the pits already. It's so hard to lift them up. And I walked away that day, just really discouraged, because she never responded. I walked away, but it was a turning point for me because it was the last straw in me because in me it was a growing burden to just go ahead and quit my job, start the ministry, go and write to my pastor and say, yes, I want to go and write, I want to reach old people. Right? There must be something we can do to prevent, diabetes, to manage diabetes, and whatever ailments that people have. So we can do all the exterior things that I've been doing, but I found out in the last 2 years or 3 years that we can do all these external things, like healthcare and stuff that I've been doing. Good work. But it's not enough. It doesn't speak and give life. So I went to read up about in the Bible. Of course, the best book to find out about human. So I read the Bible and I said, hey, there's something that cannot be just old people help old people, right? Cannot be just healthcare people help old people, right? Cannot be just government help old people, right? What's our role? And I knew something was in family. Something was close to old people's heart, their family, their loved ones. Right? So the younger generation, which don't think like Sunday school or youth, also think that a lot of you here are also children. What I call adult children. Right? So there's fathers or grandfathers. There's adult children, or what we call fathers. And then there is youth and then Sunday school. I was just researching. It is like a whole booms. Right? So I said, what? So on one hand, I was thinking, as a younger person, what can I do for my mom? What can I do for an older person in a nursing home? What can I do? What has the Bible written? Right? So I just researched. And I'm like, younger people, honor the older people. Wow, so maybe if I can honor older people, something can happen. There's a transaction that can happen to older people. So I was just searching for a biblical way to lift up older people. So in this search, I found honor. And honor is like when the Roman emperor, when they win a war, they come back, the whole city really honor them. They put them up, right, and really carry them. Right? So the word honor is about caring, lifting up, caring. They're just parading and say, yeah, my grandpa, amazing, victorious. That's honor, not respect. Respect is like level 2. Honor is like level 1. So honoring. Okay. Then there's, of course, respect as well. There's encourage. Wow, so I always hone my skill. How do I encourage? How do I encourage the ama that I see when I walk around maybe HDB block? How can I encourage her? Could be a word, it's very simple. Could be a word, just encouragement. Oh, by the way, I just want to encourage the worship team, super cool. I was just really so blessed just now by the worship. Yeah, so maybe we can just give the Lord a praise and also thank them for worship. Thank you. When I came, I was like, oh, Lord, I'm going to speak. The worship just kill all the fear away. Encourage and care for them. Hear and receive. Yeah, so younger people hear and receive from older people. So if you are ministering, reaching out to your grandparents or your parents, right? Yeah, just hear, listen, receive, right, from them. Vision, yeah. We get vision, right? And then of course we declare. But let me talk about seniors, because oftentimes old people ask me, I say, what can I do? Ani lao liao, right? Zhou si mi, right? What do I do? What can I do, right? And my grandchildren, I can play with them. My children, they don't listen to me. They already grow up, already have own family. What can I do? Right? Biblically, on the left side, right? Lord says, you teach. You teach. You teach. Right? So you have a role to play. Once you hit a certain age, when you can call yourself a senior, it may not be based on what Singapore government state as a senior, when you get your card. But as a senior, you can teach. So you teach. Right? You teach. You tell. Tell of what? Tell of your past testimonies, what the Lord has done in your life. Tell. Tell the next generation. Then may they continue to declare the praises of the Lord. Tell. You show. Right? You lead. And these are all action words that I have pulled out pertaining to seniors in the Bible. Yeah? And then you bless. I remember this story. This auntie in my exercise class, Auntie Beatrice, she's passed on since. 89 years old, I remember very clearly. One day she called me and she had terminal cancer, admitted to the RCC home. I went to RCC, visited her. First thing she did when I stepped into the room, Isaiah, come. I pray for you. She had pain. She was so shriveled up. First thing she did, Isaiah, come. Let me bless you. Let me pray for you. That blew my mind. Like, wow. And many of us, we are afraid to grow old because we see how people grow old. Right? That's where we need, right? Christian old people to arise up. Right? To dream dreams. Right? To bless. Later I'll share about my dad. Okay? And to declare. Yeah. So this is biblically what older and younger people to do. So I felt like, wow, on this journey, this is what I can do as a younger person. And this is what I can encourage older people to do. But what's the point of doing this within the generations? It's about turning hearts. It's about turning hearts. Because this is pertaining to the last days. It's about turning hearts of generations to another generation. And this is a witness to the world around us, to the body, right? That there can be restoration, right, of close ties, of a bond between the generations. It's so strong to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and hearts of children to the fathers. Again, when I say fathers, I mean grandfathers and adult children fathers. When I say children, I mean adult children, like myself, people in the 50s, 60s, are still children to their parents, right? So it's just really a turning. So with this verse as I ran, remember I told you about getting nursing home seniors? Strengthening them up. This is one of the Uncle Nonis, 89 years old also. Train him within 3 months from the bed, wheelchair, walking frame. Out of 5 of them, 3 of them were oxygen. They climb up Mount Faber. Strengthen them up. The one raising out the hand is his physio. Then there is the nurse. The doctors' eye all open very big. Okay, not because they need to prepare all the oxygen tank for them or have ambulance waiting in case, but they were like, wow, I care for this. You know, they call them patients for like 5 years. I didn't know this is possible. Right? So God has created us so amazingly. Right? And Uncle Nonis we even had family members flew from Australia to just support him, climb up the mountain together. Like how Caleb and his family took Hebron. Yeah? Climbing up Mount Faber. And there's Auntie Beatrice I told you about just now. Blessing. Just blessing. And then my young daughter, Sophia, then just there to hear and receive. Just to hear and receive. And I remember I was speaking at one of my very unique cluster. One cluster is made of quite a few cell groups in my church. And this is an intergenerational cluster. So I'm very, very, very happy that this congregation is really intergenerational. You know, oftentimes we are broken into different groups, like our youth group, old people group, you know. But having to come in together. So I had one opportunity to just come in. I remember this lady, auntie here, she had beginning of arthritis. She's in her early 60s. And nobody knew about it. And she just opened up after I shared to one of her sisters who was much younger, as you can see. She prayed for her and she just weep and weep and weep and weep and weep. You know, so how generations can come and really support one another. Simple act like that we can do. And here I share my testimony. I've personally experienced how the Lord really just restore my family. Saved my dad. She saved my grandma, saved my dad, and then saved me. So my family is in the business of building temples. Temple builders. My great-grandfather was one of the founders of Buddhist Lodge. It's like really hardcore Buddhism one. It's Kim Yan Road. And they were just doing good, right? Good work. My grandma was a medium. In Hokkien, it's called Tangki. She's a medium. So I like to really go there and play. I always go there and jump around the dragon seat, go and pull the beard of all the idols, take the sugar cane and eat during I really love all the festivals, go and take the sugar cane and eat. And the only person that was safe was my dad's sister, younger sister. So my dad was the eldest and the younger sister. Okay, so he had 4, but the second. And she will be the one that, to me, it's like nagging. Always tell us about Jesus. Right? So my whole family is like, don't know, Buddhist or Taoist, I don't know. It's like always like pian one. Buddhist Taoist, right? Like a lot of Singaporeans, a lot of Buddhist Taoists, right? And so my auntie will just come and, share, talk about Jesus. Jesus, so jinho lah, Jesus very good lah. And my dad always get very irritated with my auntie and I don't want to talk to her. My grandma said, she hates Jesus. Don't talk to me about him. But she will just keep on saying, just keep on sharing at any opportune time. And my grandma, super interesting, she also in my head, it's like, no one's going to be saved. So now on hindsight, I'm like, wow, it's not possible without God's intervention. So my grandma, right, she's so hard, right, that every time when you share, right, she'll just say, don't talk to me about it, like zero. I don't want to hear the name of Jesus, no. Right? But so happens that she entered hospital with pneumonia. So all the people usually go in with like some chest infection. So we thought it's just usual. We didn't visit her. No. She just went in 1 day, 2 days. On the second day, a pastor and my aunt and a pre-believing like Buddhist Taoist, another auntie visited my grandma. Right? So 3 persons visited my grandma. And all of a sudden my grandma says, "Wa ai sui le." Translate in English is, I want to be baptized. Well, she want to jump step, I don't get saved, then no sinner's prayer, straight away want to baptize. Right? So I'm like, wow. So then I was still a pre-believer. So then my aunt was shocked. She said, are you sure? Say it again. And she just say, right? And my pastor was like, oh, cannot. No, cannot do how to do. Like maybe tomorrow come I take sprinkle on you first, because she was quite weak. Okay, so then we're like, okay, we just pray the sinner's prayer with her. Then they went back home. As she was going back home, my auntie was showering. The hospital called her and said, hey, you better come back. BP dropping. Before she ended up in hospital, my grandma passed away. That night, I received a call from I was at Zouk clubbing. Woo! And then my cousin called me, hey! Then I was called Sam. Sam, hey! Grandma has passed away. What are you doing? Clubbing. You go at home. And I was like, okay, yes. So my elder cousin is like my sister, which is the daughter of my auntie, who would like to preach. So I went back home. Didn't know anything what happened. Next day I heard from my dad. My dad, they all went to hospital. And then there was a wake. My dad then, he was quite frail, so he had cancer. And we just went to the wake. Right? And the wake was such a testimony. Right? Because all her followers, she is a medium, she has a house temple. All her followers came, hey, wrong. Where's the wake? They're finding the orange color one, orange banner. Don't have white color one. Then go to the face. Hey, read this one. Wow. All got shocked. Like, what happened? Wow, converted. They're all shocked. Right? And yeah. And then the testimony was given that night. It was a testimony. So my cousin, another cousin who is a pre-believer, said, I had a dream last night. I saw grandma came to me with a white figure, very, very bright, standing at the door, very tall. And grandma came to me and says, believe in Jesus. And I heard the testimony, I was like, wow, really or not? So I was a big believer then in my heart, I was like, wow, really or not? Wow, what's happening, man? Why everyone converting? In my heart, I was like, wow, this is like quite threatening, man. What's happening? Right, so that's how pre-believers feel. They feel threatened. Like, what's happening? Are you going to change my life or not? Something's happening. Then in my heart, I was like, just leave me alone. I just do my thing. You all want to be safe, just go and be safe. So my dad, my mom also got converted. So that's what I believe. Once you're safe, so that's the importance of reaching out to the older generation. There's some kind of authority that's there. I mean, it's not fully written, but I believe that some kind of authority, family, matriarch and patriarch. Once they are saved, suddenly, something happens. Right? And so my dad, my mom, different ones, cousins got saved. Then my dad also got saved, right? So my dad is someone that has never ever, my dad was also saved, right? And he was someone that, was really, really hard. He believed in all religions. He always said he's like a believer in all religions kind of thing, right? But I saw, he has never been to a church, like formally stepped in. He'll be at home, he had cancer, he'll be just listening to sermons, then my auntie will give to him the tracts, and he would just kind of like sit down there and worship, and that's what I really believe, like true worship, right? Just really with his heart. He didn't know how to worship, he didn't know how to raise his hands. He's just like at home, lying down on the sofa, and it's really weak, right? And I remember God just changed him somehow. From a hot-tempered man, impatient, to a loving man. And he even tell me, to tell me, hey, I love your mom. And he tell my mom. And in my head, I'm like, wow, something is wrong, man. I've never heard this before. Something just changed. And in my heart, I was like, yeah, don't disturb me, right? But something's like, wow, if my dad is getting saved, like this is something quite interesting. Better pay attention. That he can even change my dad's heart, who has a hardened heart. So now become tender heart, right? And came the day where he had been admitted to hospital, right, for the final time. And I remember that day he was so happy. In SGH, Block 4 is a cancer block, right? Within the ward, everyone has cancer. And you can see all their faces all look very down, right? But my dad was happy. He was shriveled up like Auntie Beatrice, so skinny, no more muscles, but he was happy. And he told me, Zai is son, and he called my mom. I feel very happy. I have my family with me. I just feel happy. Of course, I know it's like the joy of salvation. He's just happy, And of course, he has family with him. And I wish and want nothing more, So then I just remember that so vividly. So I went home, and my cousin came to visit, the one that scolded me over the phone when I was at Zoom. She went to visit. And after that, she told me what my dad told her. She said, Isaiah, your dad told me this, that he says that if God saved him, if God healed him, he wants to follow my mom, which is his sister, the one that preached a lot, to go and minister to the old people. Right, because she does senior ministry. So I want to go to the community. So if I can be healed, I want to go to the community. I want to go and just reach out with your mom. I want to go and just be with them. That night he passed away. Okay, and that was my father's dream. And it's so intricately entwined because Joel 22:28 says, "Old men dream dreams, and young men see vision." And his dream that he couldn't fulfill, but he dreamed about it, he spoke it, became my vision. I was able to walk and now fulfill the dream that my dad dreamt. Amen? So I just felt that, wow, even as I shared my story, everyone needs encouragement to build one another up. And so today, and perhaps when you go to work tomorrow, you'll meet somebody. So therefore, we want to encourage each other. And I found out it's all about relationships. When it comes to whether it's salvation or just loving people, it's all relationships. Relationships can be much healthier when we learn to affirm each other positively, intentionally, and regularly. The older generation sometimes find it very hard to speak nice things, positively affirm. But the adult children generation, my generation, also seldom affirm the older generation. So I asked old people, I remember I asked this old uncle when speaking at another church. I can't remember his name, but he's 76 years old. I asked him, "Uncle, when was the last time somebody say good things about you and affirm you?" He said, "Never. Never." I'm like, wow, I got shocked. Never. But young children are like, "Ayo, Daniel, you're so cute, smart boy, blah, blah, blah." But older people, we never ever affirm them. Okay? So this is what I want to do now. With everyone of you sitting beside one another, maybe husband and wife, maybe friends, okay? I want to just share with you so we can do this once together for one another. Okay? There are different levels of affirmation. Okay? And this can be done also as part of evangelizing somebody. Right? Something that is close to heart. You don't start off with talking about Jesus first. Right? Affirm them. Right? It's about relationship. Right? You really care for them. And this is how you can encourage. Okay? So firstly is relationally. Right? So I thank God for you. Jenny is my cousin. You've been so good to me in all the years that we've been together. So really relationally. Okay, relationally. Right? Maybe it's physical attributes. Wow, nice glasses you have today on. Wow, I want to have one pair as well. Right? Just simple things. Okay, just really physical attributes. Natural traits also. Some people can be like, wow, they are very jovial or they are very cheerful all the time. That's what you could speak into. Okay? Right? And of course, spiritually. Okay, so if speaking to pre-believers, you can always talk about talent. You can always talk about, hey, wow, you always have big vision. Wow, you really see things that I can't. Right? Talk about their talent. Okay? Yep. So this you may not need to do all four. You can just do one or two. Okay, speak to one another. We can affirm those that we do not have offense with, right? So it also is a mirror. So I'm glad that you are affirming one another. I can see that many of you are feeling like bubbling. You feel very happy inside, Okay. Let me just pray. We can end. Later you can continue affirming everyone you meet. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father, for this this body. Just feeling just connected to them. I'm just here, Lord, with all of them, just looking to you, Father, as your children. Yeah, Lord, you have made us beautiful, wonderful. You've given us talents. You've given us and put even purpose into our hearts. I pray that you just give dreams to the older people this day. Reveal it to them. Dreams that would give them purpose and meaning in their lives. I pray against suicide, Lord. That there will not be one that even ideate or think about taking their own lives. That all our lives are in your hands, Lord, I pray. I ask, oh God, Lord, that relationships, adult children, to their parents, their older parents, Lord, that every offense will be taken down, that they will cause their hearts to turn towards one another, not turn away, but turn towards one another. I pray that the younger ones would see visions. The younger ones would hear and receive. The younger ones would declare of the things that you have spoken to them. Lord, let this body in this house, Lord, be strengthened this day. Let their relationships flourish. In the name of Jesus, I pray.